For years we have been suffering under the pressure of a problem that the dictate of our sires posed to use, and which with its degeneration and consequence has become unbearable for use. Danzig has been and East Germany city. The corridor has been and East Germany. Danzig we separated from use. The police annexed the corridor, as in the Eastern German regions. The innovation of the corridor have been mistreated in an intolerable manner in 1919 and 1920. More than 1 million men with German blood had to leave their homeland. As always, I attempted to obtain a modification of this intolerable state of affairs by means of proposals for peaceful revision. It is only when it is declared abroad that we only use pressure to obtain our claims. In the 15 years that preceded the advent of national socialism to power, there would have been the opportunity to provoke a review through reconciliation procedures, but nothing was done. Consequently, I am myself and not once but many times made a proposals aimed at restoring a situation that had been becoming unbearable. As you know, all proposals were rejected. Thus I met at the limitation of armaments, and if it would have been necessary to suspend them, the propositions relating to war actions, leaving aside certain producers of modern war.
Under the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union partitioned and annexed territories of their European neighbors, Poland, Finland, Romania, and the Baltic states. Following the onset and campaigns in North Africa and East Africa and the fall of France in mid-1940, the war continued primarily between the European Axis powers and the British Empire. War in the Balkans, the aerial battle of Britain, the Blitz, and the long battle of the Atlantic followed. On 22 June 1941, the European Axis powers launched an invasion of the Soviet Union, opening the largest land theatre of war in history. This Eastern Front trapped the Axis. Most crucially, the Germans were matched in a battle of attrition. In December 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the United States, as well as European colonies in the Pacific. The US immediately declared the war against Japan. Supported by one from Great Britain, the European Axis powers quickly declared war on the US in solidarity with their Japanese. Only rapid Japanese conquest over much of the Western Pacific. The Axis advance in the Pacific halted in 1942 when Japan lost the critical battle of Midway. Later, Germany and Italy were defeated in North Africa and then decisively at Stalingrad in the Soviet Union. Kate setbacks in 1943, which included a series of German defeats on the Eastern Front, the Allied invasions of Silesia and Italy, and Allied victories in the Pacific, cost the Axis its initiative and forced it into strategic retreat on all fronts. In 1944, the Western Allies invaded Germany, occupied France, while the Soviet Union regained its territorial losses and turned toward Germany and its allies. During 1944 and 1945, the Japanese suffered major reverses in mainland Asia, Central China, South China, and Burma, while the Allies crippled the Japanese Navy and captured Key Western Pacific Island. The war in Europe included with an invasion of Germany by the Western Allies and the Soviet Union, culminating in the capture of Berlin by Soviet troops, the suicide of Adolf Hitler, and the German unconditional surrender on 8 May 1945, following the Potsdam Declaration by the Allies on 26 July 1945, and the refusal of Japan to surrender under its terms. The United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
In these camps, prisoners endured greatly forced labor, extremely food deprivation, and unsanitary conditions leading to deadly diseases. But worst of all was the extermination machinery designed to annihilate millions. Gas chambers were turned into poison, and crematoria that turned bodies into ashes. Suffering in the concentration camps was unprecedented hunger, illness, and despairing eroded the dignity and hope of prisoners. The atrocities permanent in these dark places serve as grim and heartbreaking reminder of humanity's world side and a call to memory to ensure that such horror never repeats.
In the dark and grim period of World War II, concentration camps became unhaunting symbols of the horror and barbarism perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Established in various countries occupied by Germany, these camps were places of unimaginable suffering where millions of people were subject to inhuman conditions and unspeakable atrocities. Barbed wire fences and watchtowers surrounded the camps, creating a nightmare prison for those trapped within their confines. Men, women, and children, marked by their religion, ethnicity, or political orientation, were torn from their homes and thrown into this abyss of dehumanization.
Finally, in this informative short film, the credits.